And my favorite attendant circumstance participles in Colossians 2:12 and 3. I forget exactly. Oh, I can't resist. Mike, you can cut this off when you're editing the tape. But there it is. Sun ta phentes, being buried with him in baptism, in which you were raised through faith in the operation of God. No, that's not what I'm looking for. And you being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, you were circumcised. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. It's in verse 11. Yeah, okay. In which you were circumcised, having been buried with him in baptism. Now, it doesn't work. It doesn't work actually structurally, but because the participle follows, and then you have this main verb here. But I remember when we worked through this as a class, and Dr. Barrett, he took that, I believe, as attendant circumstance because he liked the idea of being circumcised and being baptized as parallel events. So, good baptismal theology. So, but you can't. It's not watertight, obviously, because it doesn't work structurally. So that's what happens when you wing it. Okay? Back to our class. Ben, if you will please read for us verse 29.
But I know him because I am from him, and he sent me.
Very good. Very good. Okay, you open with a but. Can't remember if that's one of the verses where, or maybe it was a Net Bible note that supplied but because of the implied contrast. But what was your reasoning there for? Because there is no Greek word for but.
Context.
Okay, just context. Very good. And that's fine because it is a contrast, obviously, in some sense, to what we just read. You don't know him, but I know him because I am. And I think the Net Bible says it supplies but there for the sake of the contrast. So, and then read the second part of the verse one more time. Yeah, perfect. Start right there.
He sent me.
Okay. Are you translating kakenos as he? And he, and just basing that on when I see kakenos, I see the demonstrative pronoun in there. So why did you not translate it as and that one sent me?
Oh, because that one
is he. All right, good. And if you had told me, well, in the concise lexicon, Donker suggests, and he's the one who sent me, I would have said that's pretty good too. So, you're fine. You're fine. You did. Yeah, you meant it. You meant it. So anyway, now it's fine for you guys to smooth it out. There's no problem. Just have a justification. You know, in the sense of if it's kakenos, which is more naturally that one, maybe just supply a reason why you go with the regular pronoun he. But Donker says that's really the idea there. He's the one who. Yeah, I think so. I think Donker says it links it back again to the previous statement.
I think I saw this word in there.
Yeah, you probably did. So, parse ego.
Ego. First person. Nominative singular. Pronoun.
Mm-hmm.
It is subject of
Good. Yeah, here it is. Kakenos, real quick. In reference to someone or something mentioned earlier in the narrative. So, yeah, like a pronoun. He. Good. All right, subject of oida. I know him. And then auton, then?
Auton, accusative singular masculine direct object of
Yep. And I, for some reason, wrote nominative. Good job. That what part of speech is kakenos, or what's its function?
Is I thought it was a compound word.
Yeah, that's what's its function. That's its part of speech. What's its function? Like, what case is it?
Nominative.
Yep.
Singular masculine.
So what kind of nominative?
Usage.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the usage?
Subject of testimony.
Good. Which makes meh, then what?
Direct object of offense.
Good job. He's the one who sent me. Or where we go? Verse 29. I know him because I am from him, and he's the one who sent me. Now, the preposition para, when followed by the genitive, can have a source idea or an agency idea. Which one do you think is used here? Or let me put it like this: source / spatial or agency.
You mean source or space?
Yeah, that's one option: source / spatial or agency. I came from him, or I came by him.
The first one.
Okay, you thought that, and you doubt it now?
I still think of the first one because the second sentence say about the agency.
Yeah, good point. Yep,
So
good.
it might be different. Yeah.
Right. Well, I repeat it. That's good. That's very good. And there's nothing wrong with saying the first. When you say source, we're not thinking in the sense of, some kind of weird. What am I trying to say here? Later generation. We talk of eternal generation. So yeah, we don't mean that there once when the Son wasn't, but just I came from where he is, from his side.
Yeah. Also, verse 28 is talking about where I am from.
Yeah, where, right. Good. If you haven't discovered this yet, this should be in the summary section too, but Wallace prepositions, in his section on prepositions, he just has them all listed out, and it's basic uses with accusative, boom, boom. Come down here to apa with genitive, boom, boom, boom. That's just genitive. Yeah, di, here you go. With genitive, boom, boom, boom. With accusative, boom, boom. So notice he tells you, with genitive, agency, means, spatial, temporal. With accusative, cause, spatial, etc. So that's really helpful. And here's para. With genitive, generally the idea is from the side of, source, spatial, agency. With dative, boom, boom, boom. With accusative, there you go. And if you remember from your vocabulary days, this fun preposition epi that can mean like everything. Well, there you go. He's got it outlined for you. So that's a nice quick reference there, and that should be in the summary. And I don't even look up prepositions anymore. I just look them up in Wallace for this kind of work. Ben, you did a good job. So good. Why don't you read verse 32 or verse 30 also?
Okay. Is it due to mothers?
Yes, that I was going to say it, but
Now it's my census.
count right. The whole class has been oppressed and disenfranchised.
Therefore, they wanted to catch him, but no one stretched a hand to him or on him because his time has not come yet.
Very good. You said his time has not come yet. You gave it a present tense idea.
Perfect.
In fact, I never had you parse Lutha for us, Calvin, back in verse 28. Well, we'll do it here. It's parse it, Ben. Parse Luthai here in verse 30.
The lexical form is Erkamai.
Good.
Present perfect.
Present perfect?
Oh, no. Perfect. Third person.
Hold on. Tense, voice, mood. In that order.
Perfect.
I am picky on the verbs. So.
Perfect. Active. Indicative.
Good. Now, person number.
Now, third person. Singular.
Excellent. Very good. Very well done. Perfect active indicative, third singular from Urkamai. So how would you translate it? How do you think you translate it there?
Has.
Still go with has there. His hour has not yet. I would probably go with was, because his hour has not or was not yet come.
I don't have any sense of perfect in
Right.
English, so I just translate perfect.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's something that when you say has, I think it puts more emphasis on the present moment. His hour hasn't come yet, right here, standing from right where we are. His hour hasn't come. I think this looks back a little more holistically, because his hour was not yet come.
Could you put had not yet come?
Yeah, that would work too. It had not yet come, which that's really though the same as has. Let's check translations. Maybe I'm being.
I agree with you about has. I think that would sound.
Yeah, but is that present or past? I suddenly.
Has come would be like an English imperfect.
Okay, that's why it's like had not is what I see in translation.
Had not.
Had not.
That is, at the time of this happening, it wasn't yet come.
Yeah, AV is, I think, was not yet come. So maybe the more modern English way is just had not yet come. Versus has, which is more, I think you said, imperfect. He has gone to the store, etc.
Otherwise, it sounds like we're waiting for Jesus' hour to come now.
Yeah, thank you. That's what's bothering me. Yes, when you say has, it sounds like the readers are still waiting for it to come. Whereas or the people who are hearing it presently.
But John, when he wrote, the hour was still to come.
No, when John wrote, the hour had come.
So they wanted to catch him, but time had not come.
The time for him to be crucified was not yet there. Yeah, so from John's perspective, and thus for his readers, the hour has come. It's almost like a pluperfect idea, in that it's from it begun and ended all in the past. There's no continuing results up to the present time. So it's from the standpoint of the readers looking back, the hour wasn't yet come, or had not yet come. Yeah, look at one more thing real quick. I think I just found out what our problem is. $27. Okay, so Mounts says this form is second perfect. But the parsing information supplied by, well, at least Logos, says pluperfect. So let's check BDAG. Under Urkamai. Urkamai. Yeah, there's our problem. Pluperfect, third singular, elelu, thigh. This is pluperfect. That's why we want to give it that idea of it was in action in the past, but even that has come to an end. In other words, there was a period of time where his hour had not yet come. But from the standpoint of the readers, even that has ended. And if you say his hour has not yet come, then what you have here is you're bringing that period into the present where it's not yet come. Does that make sense? The line is the present. When we use the perfect tense, often the idea is an action in the past that has been completed, yet the results continue into the present time. So it is finished. The work is completed, yet with continuing results. Or it is written. The act of writing is completed, yet the results continue. The scriptures still exist. All right? Perfect tense. Pluperfect, the action was completed in the past, the results endured for some time, but even now those have come to an end. So that both action and results from the standpoint of the present are completed.
So when John wrote this book, Jesus already has crucified.
Correct.
So it cannot be perfect.
Correct. The hour had not yet come. From the perspective of the writer, at that time, the hour was yet to come. But from the standpoint of the writer, the hour has now come. Versus if we say has, now it sounds like John, like you pointed out, John is still saying it hasn't come.
Not to unnecessarily extend this, but in my sort of reader's guide, there's parsing and vocab at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And in the verse 28, Eleutha,
Yep, it says it's perfect.
it's called it perfect.
Yep.
And I just noticed now that you say that in verse 30, it calls it pluperfect.
Yeah.
There seems to be no difference in form.
I see no difference in form either. I'm going to go with...
Is it just is the form the same for both of them, or do we just sort of make a call about which it is, or is there some way of discerning?
There is a way of discerning if you know the morphology. I don't know it that well.
Right.
Looking at BDAG here, the only difference is in the pluperfect form, the accent is over the upsilon, whereas in the perfect form, the accent is on the eta. Now, I don't know if that's because of the... Yeah, I don't know if that's because of the different ending, though. Notice that in verse 28, it is first singular, I believe, hence the alpha ending.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
All right. Why can't I find it? There we go. Because I came, elelutha, whereas in verse 30, it's third singular, the hour had not yet come. So I don't know if the accent has shifted because of the difference in alpha and eta iota. What I do know is looking at the way that analyzes it and the way BDAG analyzes it, there's a difference there. But I'm just not 100% sure what that is.
Okay, so there is a difference.
We
have to just be really careful to...
let me put it like this. The fact that this resource says there are different tense makes me assume that there's an actual different reason.
Okay. But it's not like we get to decide which one it is.
Yeah, like, well, it's choose your own adventure. I mean, I would think you have to have a morphological reason to say there's a difference in tense versus, well, the perfect and the pluperfect share the same. No, it could be the present. No, it could be that the perfect and the pluperfect share the same form, and you have to decide. That could be true, but I would think there's something in the history of the word that got it to that point.
Right.
And that is beyond.
Because there is a usage of the perfect, which is perfect as pluperfect.
I think so. Let's look in Wallace, or you can look.
I'm saying that's not what's going on here. There is a...
No, because that's a usage decision, whereas when they list it here, they're making tense morphological judgment calls. That's correct.
So do we have the same form, just perfect and pluperfect?
For this word, they appear to be the same. The only difference I can see is a different accent.
Or other verbs, generally speaking?
No, they're not going to be very common. They're not going to be very... This kind of thing happens, but they're not going to be very common. Yeah. Where to go?
Do look different, though.
Typically a verb will look different between the perfect and the pluperfect. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a different form. You have, for the pluperfect, you have reduplication plus an epsilon augment, and then usually a different form. You have, I think it's the secondary active endings. So, la lu ka is perfect active indicative first singular. La kane is the pluperfect active indicative. So notice you've added an epsilon and you've brought in your imperfect endings, or your secondary active endings.
How do you remember that?
There is you teaching it. It sticks. There is no use in Wallace under the perfect of the perfect as pluperfect.
Oh, there isn't.
No, there is not. So, then you should ask me, well, why didn't you remember that?
I can't invent it.
So again, coming back to Mounts, and see now Mounts, I'm just surprised Mounts doesn't say something, especially since he knows the morphology. Let me look at something real quick. Present, future active, aorist active, perfect active, la lu tha. That is interesting. Well, maybe it's somewhere in morphology of biblical Greek. I don't have that. If anyone want to get it for me, it's fine. Where were we then? Verse 30. I'm getting there. Bear with me. All right, because his hour was not yet come. Did you do any parsing yet from verse 30?
Yes.
So, Alton.
First Alton,
Mm-hmm.
because if singular masculine, direct object, Piasai.
Yep, good. Piasai. Parse that, please.
Piasai
Mm-hmm.
is infinitive,
Mm-hmm.
aorist active.
Mm-hmm. Or you'd say aorist active infinitive
Yeah, aorist active infinitive.
from Piazzo. And what use do you have for it?
Complement.
Yeah, that's fine. Completes Ed Zaytun. Good job. Is that where you're going to say it completes Ed Zaytun? Which verb does it complete?
Oh, yeah. A8.
Good, good. We have Udes again.
2 days. There is more parts.
Yeah.
Present.
Not a verb. Udes. Kai Udes.
Is the word.
No.
Out.
Oh, that's right. I need to go back to the...
Oh, got it.
Got it now?
Yep.
I was just about to draw it for you.
Sorry, I didn't first. This. This nominative, singular, masculine.
There we go. Yep. And used how?
Subject of epibalin.
Good. Epibalin, what tense do you have for that?
Epibalin.
You don't have to. This is one of those ones I was asking you here in class. What tense is that?
Imperfect.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Any nuance to the imperfect there you would bring out?
Simple past.
Okay, simple past, which you... do we have a use of the imperfect as simple past?
No, but it'd be a good one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I thought... Yeah, I mean, you've got the instantaneous imperfect, a.k.a. the aoristic or punctiliar imperfect. I was going to... This is one of those, what we call the conative aorist, meaning in a... Or no, the conative imperfect, sorry, an action that was attempted but not successful. So the imperfect tense itself here gives us this idea of not just they were laying the hand on him, but no one was able to lay a hand on him. See that little nuance? You can either say no one was laying a hand on him. Well, what's the idea there?
Could it be no one tried to lay hands on him?
So I would say no one was able. And let me find Wallace. He's got a comment, I thought. Where'd he go? Yeah, the true conative is was attempting unsuccessfully versus not begun but desired. Well, that's okay. That's the other nuance. Yeah, I see what you're saying. They wanted to lay a hand on him, but they couldn't for his hour has not yet come. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, either of those. Either of those would work. I guess you'd be...
In my little summary here, it says conative and then in brackets, tendential and voluntative.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be three different ones in Wallace, I'm not sure.
It's Wallace has the true conative and then the tendential voluntative. So the true conative is attempted unsuccessfully. The other is wanted to but didn't.
So the idea is a Pharisee's running around trying to find him, but never actually getting him.
Yeah, though I mean maybe the other one does work better there. They wanted to, but they weren't. I mean they couldn't even do it. They couldn't even attempt to. Because I mean in the narrative here, you don't have actual attempts, do you? I mean they send these servants. Oh, doesn't. Hold on one second. Yeah, verse 44 is the same idea again. Then many were wishing to lay a hand on him, but were not able to because his hour, but no one could because his hour had not yet come. So it changes the fellow. Well, yeah, either's fine. I'm not sure. I'll banter that. What do you think? What do you guys think? Attempted unsuccessfully or desired but not attempted? Okay. Ben, you have an opinion one way or the other? Desired. Okay. Calvin? John?
The fact that verse 32 and following, they actually kind of did attempt, makes me wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Attempted unsuccessfully.
Where is that? Yeah, there it is. They sent servants in order that they might seize him. Yeah, there we go. Thought there was something in there that indicated unsuccessful.
When you mentioned that kind of made me.
Suddenly I was scrolling through my notes and I couldn't find the verse. I thought, did I lose it? Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, good. Tain kaira.
Accusative singular feminine, direct object of equivalent.
Good job. And how did you translate the definite article there? The hand, or did you just go with a hand?
I said the hand.
Okay.
Actually, that is his hand. There, someone's hand.
Yeah, that works too. No one could lay a hand on it, reference to class there, or possessive, no one could lay their hand on him. Yep, that works too.
So in this case, our hand is better than the
I like because I think it's that general idea of no one could lay a hand, no one could touch him, versus their particular hands. And then because his hour, hora, what's the use of hora?
the subject of our
Good. His hour hadn't yet come. And what about al two? His hour.
is genitive.
Correct. What kind? All right. Attributive. If you, is that your answer?
Oh, attributive.
Attributive. All right. Think when you say attributive, what you're saying is that the genitive word is like an adjective. So, hearts of hardness. Of hardness is an attributive genitive because hardness is the idea there of hard hearts. If it's hour of him, that him doesn't have an adjectival idea. All right, you couldn't transform it into an adjective. And real quick, Chuck mentioned this morning. He talks about back transformations, meaning when you have genitive words, they can usually be transformed into either an adjective, and then that's your first 15 uses in Wallace. They could be translated into a verb, and that's your subjective, objective, plenary, or they could be translated into a thing. And that's where you get more of your ablatival uses, your genitive of separation, your genitive of source, your genitive of comparison, and also some of the adjectival uses as well. All right, so just keep that in mind when you're doing genitives. All right, is this genitive functioning like an adjective, a noun, or a verb? And that will start eliminating some possibilities for you. So when you see of him, is that a verb, an adjective, or a noun? Is him a verb, adjective, or noun?
What adverbial?
Is him a verb, adjective, or noun?
Three.
Of those three, what part of speech is it? His is an adjective, which is the way it's translated, but him, the person, that's a noun. Person, place, or thing, a noun. Yep. So it's not an adjective and it's not a verb. Him is a person. All right. So that helps you now with some of these. So you can eliminate attributive, because if it was attributive, him would be an adjectival idea. All right. A descriptive word. All right. So the hour of him. What do you think?
Time.
Okay. You're thinking time because you're thinking hour. Hour is a time word. Let's notice genitive of time. The genitive will tell you the kind of time or the time within which the word to which it stands related takes place. In other words, if it's a genitive of time, then the genitive needs to be the time word. But in this construction, the time word is hour, not of him. All right? So I'll give you one more guess, and then we'll reveal the mystery. Any other guesses?
Subject.
All right? If you're saying subject, then you're saying hour is a verbal idea. Do you think hour is a verbal idea there?
No.
Good job. So not subjective, because it can't be his. You know, his becomes the subject of the verb. Any more? I'll. You don't have to be on the spot anymore unless you. Any more guesses you want to throw out?
Good thing there's only like 9 million.
Right. Right. You've suggested 3, and Wallace gives 33, so you got 30 to go. Anybody? What? Roger, you want to suggest one?
Possessive.
Possessive. Calvin, you want to suggest a use? Reference. John, do you want to suggest a use? Possession. So we got 2 possessions, 1 reference. Give me 1 second. Calvin, I was leaning towards reference, and then I looked in Wallace, and he says this. The genitive usually modifies an adjective, and as such, its adverbial force is self-evident. The genitive limits the frame of reference of the adjective. So he says an evil heart of unbelief, a heart with reference to unbelief, or everyone who lives on milk is unskilled with reference to righteousness. So I wanted to do reference because it made sense, the hour, which hour, the one that has reference to him. But in the end, I think possession is probably just what you have to go with. It sounds a little odd to say that he owns the hour, but notice what Wallace says for possession. Give me 1 second. And then we'll be done, guys. The substantive and the genitive possesses the thing to which it stands related. That is, in some sense, the head noun is owned by the genitive noun. Such ownership at times can be broadly defined and need not imply the literal and sometimes harsh idea of possession of physical property. So, belonging to is a gloss, or possessed by. So it's the hour that belongs to him. So you get your reference idea there, I think.
The gloss I was looking at was in association.
Yeah, and that word, see, that's where I went first too. And Wallace has a genitive of association, though he says usually it's used with words that have the sun prefix.
Okay.
So, but no, I mean, that's like if this was a quiz, I'd probably mark it right. But probably possession there gets a little better focus. All right, good. Any questions on that verse? All right, we will resume on Thursday with verse 31.